Hi, everybody. This is Chef Arturo Mora, and this is how our journey began. So we start with the food truck, plate, first the baby of the house. So I wanted to show you how we start, so you guys don't make the same mistakes I did. This is a working truck, but when we start, wasn't looking like this at all. So we upgrade the truck through many years, 8 years later. So I want you to see what we have going on, but this truck has changed through time. For example, we start with a very little flat top, but this big. We had a grill and something else, but it didn't work for our concept. Through time with more equipment, so because we get busier and you need upgrade, but the truck themselves make the money to do the upgrades. I make a lot of mistakes. For example, when I open a window, this is not your traditional window. We start with a very little window and redid this window 4 times. Finally, we leave it like that, but it's actually a swing window instead of going up. So that's mistake number one, but I roll with it. The scene was a bigger scene. We could, but we didn't have enough room, so we bought a small one, and then actually I put this one up. We put a new corners. So when I first started, I bought everything used. I use coolers, use flat tops, everything. So through time, we upgrade. We did not have any POS systems. We handwrite everything. So 8 years later, this is kind of the final process. We have better POS systems, internet on the food truck. It goes out every day. Like you see, it's a working truck. It's not a brand new truck. So we do a lot of the cooking here, and this is where we all begin. Now, if I would have built a new truck again, this is what I would do. First, I would start with my propane being on the bottom. Also, all my electrical should be on the outside, not in the inside. That was mistake number one. I mean, it works, but if it breaks down or something, or you want to change something, then you gotta throw the whole thing. That's mistake. Another mistake I make, I start with on our heaters. We have flexible pipe, so through winter, it gets bigger. We didn't start with that. That was That was our first mistake. Where one day with winter it was over, the next season we start, and the pipe was all broken. We start all over again. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two, I would have started with a bigger flat top if I would have had the budget. A bigger window, I would have had the budgets, but I didn't have the budget. But now, if I want to build a new truck, those are the changes that I will make. But every city, every state is different. So that you look at the requirements first, and then base your base that accordingly. So here we got different requirements in Iowa, but every state is different.
Copy.
The reason we had this type of big window is because of fire marshal. We need it, so if there's a fire, we can save through here, or we can skate to another one. I custom make these walls so we can take it out at the winter and we pull everything out. But you can only do it once a year. You can't do it all the time. So that's why we need a bigger window for fire, so safety. So that's the difference that I would do this. I will get a bigger truck, slightly bigger if I could. This one is a small, but in a good day, this truck could generate anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000 at a good festival. So they're a good business, but it takes time to get there. Now, you might ask, how do you know what's a good day? How do you pick a good day? Well, we've been in business for 8 years. So it's all trial trial and error. There's some festivals that you do very well this year, and next year you'll do not so well. But you just got to keep going. Like I said, the next festival might be better than the one that you do the day before. You can't keep up on the first time. I mean, for example, we were at the whiskey festival this weekend. Well, last year we did almost $5,000 on sales. This year we only did 800. When I go back to the whiskey festival, of course I will go to the whiskey festival. Everybody have bad days, so it's important to know that today you'll have a bad day, but tomorrow it's going to be better, or the other way around. So it through time and through doing festivals and launches, you'll know it's no different than restaurants. You have a great weekend, but the next weekend you might not have a good weekend. Also depends on weather. If it's super hot, you might not be busy. But if it's nice and you have good music up there, you'll be very busy. So, it's all going to be dependent on weather and also the attitude that you have. Our attitude is, hey, it's going to be okay today. If not, there's always tomorrow. Hola. Hi, this is Chef Morat. So you guys kind of know about our food truck. So after we open our food truck, we decide to spend. We buy a trailer. Voila. I'm going to tell you the good and bad, the benefits of both. They're all about, when it comes to money, they're all about the same price. Remember, you have to have something to hold it. So that also costs money. But a trailer might be cheaper when it comes to building a truck. But you need a hold. So we bought this after we spent it 3 years later. It was a great investment. The good thing about this one is we can use anybody's truck if ours is broken. That's a very good benefit. Also, with the food truck, if you broke down, then you're shut down until the pit. So that's the downfall on the food truck. However, with the trailer, you are the first one to pull it in a festival, and sometimes you're the last one because you get butts in. So you also waste a little bit more time with trailers. And not a lot of people want to drive a trailer because they're hard to, you got to learn how to drive them, back it up, and a tight squeeze. And I didn't know how to start it, but I learned, and I'm getting better. I'm not perfect, but you just got to start. So the point here, you got to start somewhere. We start with a food truck, which we build ourselves, and then we expand to a trailer and other things. But that you got to believe in yourself. That's the whole idea here. You got to believe that you can do it. And the most important thing, you got to start, and from that point, the sky is the limit. Let me show you the inside. This one has a lot more equipment, a little bit more room. All right. So you got to remember, it's still a working truck. This one has been operated all summer long. So, hey, many of you will say it's studio, whatever, because we're working. We're working in here. So this trailer is a lot bigger when it comes to how wired, so this one has a 4 burners and an oven. We have a fryer, but also this one is smaller when it comes to the flat top. We have more cooling space in here. So we have a cooler where we keep all our meats, only meats, that's it, nothing else. And then we have 2 tables for cold stuff. So all our toppings that go on a taco, on a burger, they come out of here. And then we have over there, we have another, we have a freezer, and we have a bigger cooler that we'll show you. And then there's a lot of more room in here, so that's a good benefit about a trailer. But once again, you got to take both into consideration. My next truck, I want a food truck. because they're convenient and they're easy for people who work for me to drive it. So if you are a beginner, it's gonna cost you about the same amount. It's gonna cost you the food truck is gonna cost you the same because you gotta have a pickup that holds a trailer. So by the time you have the pickup and the trailer, it's about the same amount of money. So that's just a heads up on that one. So at the end of the day, is whether you want to do a catering business, a food truck business, or a restaurant. Well, that's up to you. I enjoy the process. Learn from my mistakes. If you got any questions, you can always reach out. But I want to give you the good and bad of all scenario, from our restaurants to our food trucks to our catering business. Um, I want you guys to learn from me. At the end of the day, you decide what is going to fit your needs and your family, and that's the most important thing.